Okay, go on, bro. That's fine.
Quick.
That's fine.
Hi, this is Brad Johnson. We're here in Coconut Creek at American Top Team to interview Conan Silviera. Conan, thanks for the interview.
It's a pleasure.
I'm kind of excited about this. You go clear back to the day, back bare knuckles, groin stomps, hair
Anything
pulling.
goes. Anything goes.
Back when they wanted to outlaw you guys.
Three fights in a night to get
Exactly.
the title. No gloves, no rules, nothing.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more, you know.
Yeah, I would say, of course, I love the evolution. I love the way the sport's going now. I think then, evolution is part of anything, and you got to be following that. But it definitely was, I feel like I'm in the beginning of the whole story about the whole, how everything started. That makes me feel really good.
Oh, you were the guys that paid the dues, the serious dues.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while they tried to take this sport away from us.
Exactly.
It was brutal because
Right.
of you guys. 'Cause
Right.
You were brutal.
They actually had a situation that happens in Canada. Then I was defending my title for the second time, and supposedly, we were supposed to fight in New York. By the time the senator in New York was a mechanic, and he was very well connected with the donkey, something like that.
Right.
And he promised that if he'll catch us, he'll put everybody in jail. So the whole, the promoters and everybody went to Canada to fight in the Indian reservation, thinking that that was okay because supposedly they have their own rules, their own
Right.
law. To make long story short, it wasn't like that. Right hours after I fought, I won. I retained my title. The police came and arrested everybody at the hotel for illegal prize fighting. Of course, it was a political, issue, but 6 months later they dropped the charge. But I came from the time everything was so difficult for MMA.
Well, even here, they didn't want it. They couldn't have it. This state, you can't have it. In that
Right,
state,
right.
I mean, it was amazing. You guys persevered. So what did you find the difference between fighting here and fighting in Japan? Not just technique, because it was, 97 you fought over there, right?
Right. I would say, even there, I think then I don't see the difference as fighting. I just think that the passion they have over there back then was more than here. People here didn't have the information. People here didn't have any idea what is MMA. They thought it was two guys getting in a cage and hitting each other brutally,
Right.
killing each other. In Japan, the mentality is different. They understand the sport. It has to do with a lot of the culture over there. So in that point, was good. I felt comfortable because they understand what we're doing there. But nowadays they do understand now. There's a lot of information. You have UFC, with the show every week. You have a lot of websites showing a lot of making comments and promoting the fights. So I think that everything's falling in the right place.
Well, the American crowd, I think, is getting more sophisticated.
Exactly.
I mean, you can still go to some of these events and you got the stand them up. The guy's been on the ground for 10 seconds. They don't realize there's a lot
Right.
going on down there.
Right.
A lot.
Is one thing that if I could, I would change. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I think that will be part of it to make the sports better, was to have the referees and the judges understand more about MMA. I think then you were still missing some events, some shows. They really sometimes don't understand what they're seeing because
Right.
it's too much of a commotion as the fighting. Sometimes they on the ground, sometimes they stand up. And I think that the judges, because they miss the information, they don't understand what they're saying. They miss the points. They judge and I don't know what a basis they do that.
Well, if you got a boxer and he's judging ground fighting, he's not looking for the
Exactly.
stuff the knee and the
Exactly.
spine nobody sees. And if it's a grappler, he's not looking for body shots and stuff so much. It does make a difference.
Right. And I'll believe that it will make the difference because there's so many details. Then you can see how progressed the fight is doing during the fight. And I think sometimes the judge, they miss that. They, like you say, they understand about the striking and the stand up and moves to the ground. They kind of get lost. Is the guy in the bottom doing good just because the guy's on the top winning the fight? I mean, vice versa goes. I don't think it's still, we still have something to do it.
Oh, I agree. And there's still a learning curve because I'm in favor of the ground fighting. Nobody wants to watch the old days where two big monsters laid down there for 40
Right.
minutes locked up. It looks boring, although you and I both know there's no resting going on down there. nobody's relaxing a
Exactly.
bit. But the crowds, and I don't want to see that either, but I like to see a good ground game. That's
Right.
what keeps us from being sloppy boxing.
Right.
I
Exactly. Exactly. I agree 100%. And MMA is so 360 degree open to, you know, so much action, you know, involves in a fight. Then really gives the beauty of, you know, it's just. And I'm not depreciating boxing, but it just, you know what is going on with boxing. You know, it's just one kind of type of combination, strike and situation. In MMA, you can be on the top, you can be on the bottom, you can be on the side. So many situations happening, you know, during the 15 minutes, 25 minutes. And I think that's the beauty. That's you know, what really makes people really like MMA.
Oh, I agree, because you can't, I don't care how good a boxer you are, you can't stand there and throw jabs at a good jiu-jitsu guy. You're going to be on your butt.
Exactly.
Soon.
Exactly. I would say then, with time, and you really are, you ready, I think you're crossing to that transition. The MMA fighter cannot be anymore just a black belt jiu-jitsu, or just a good wrestler, or just a good boxing. He gotta be, and when I say he gotta be 100%, that means the same black belt he has in jiu-jitsu, he has to have in boxing, has to have in wrestling, has to have, gotta be at that level. Because if you don't achieve that level, you can't be part of the business.
Well, there's many nuances. Like you said, the grappling. There's grappling going on against the cage when they're standing up.
Exactly.
And that's a tough part of the game, because you can end up in a lot of trouble if you don't get in the right position. So you're training now. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. You have to have the complete knowledge. Your skills got to be top to be in MMA. Because, you know, as you see, you know, sometimes you see a fighter, then he's excellent in boxing. But even the fight starts on the feet, that doesn't dictate anything. That doesn't mean that he can throw a punch and go down, and what happens?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you see some of the guys don't even know how to get up from the ground. You don't see the guys even how to take down. So it's something that, you know, I'll say, and that's what I pass to the guys. You gotta be better than good. You gotta be excellent. You gotta be perfect. If you're not,
at all of it.
And
it's
everything.
Like chess. You got to have
everything, and be able to adjust yourself to any situation comes to you.
So who you training these days?
We have, I mean, the list is so big. You know, all the guys. You know, Hector Lombard, Thiago Alves, Thiago Silva, George Santiago, Jay-Z, Mike Brown, and Danilo, and you know, Rich Antonio. I mean, it's incredible. The team is we have about 60 fighters, you know, and probably like good 20 right in the top shows. So it's fights every weekend, you know, three times. I'll say, yeah, sometimes in a week it's like 3 shows that we're participating.
Wow, that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
So how's Hector doing now? I mean, we were talking earlier. That's a tough kid.
Yes, and it's funny to say like that, but sometimes that works against you in a good way. And I'm going to explain to you why. You see, Bellator right now having a very hard time to find him opponent. We tried to bring Paulo Filho to fight in the last show. You know, problems happen. You know, we don't know exactly today what happened in their side. So now you're waiting for the champion from the second Caesar to fight Hector. And like you say, yeah, he's a bad dude. You know, he's gets in the cage. He is the kind of guy I'm talking about. He's the kind of fighter that I'm talking about. 100% complete. Whatever you take him, whatever he goes, there will be no problem.
He's a good fighter, and he's well-rounded, like you were talking about. I've watched him go, and he's aggressive. He doesn't wait around for things to happen.
No. He looks for. And you see sometimes fighters should be aggressive, but they lose control of the fight because they get too excited. In his case, even that part is not. That part is good. It's perfect because he knows the time that he has to step back to be aggressive again. So he has control of the whole situation. Exactly.
You have to know when to do it.
Exactly.
Conan, I want to thank you for this interview. This was
no
great,
problem
very
at all.
insightful,
It's a pleasure.
And we'll come back anytime and talk to you.
It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Thank you.